Everyone is becoming someone, but not everyone is becoming intentionally. You won't just listen, you will learn, you will reflect, you will shift. Get ready to hear real stories, real journeys, and real transformation. Welcome to the journey of becoming.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much for uh, this great honor. I am. I don't know where to begin because I remember when you texted me about this, I was very skeptical, but I kind of leaned into it, and I really appreciate you having me here. And salute to all the great men on that. You know, I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right. So my name is Yaw Otoo. It is basically something I came up with not long ago. I have an official name that has a Christian name and all. That is that is not for today. So I am a photographer, a graphic designer, a creative director, and most people don't know this that I am also a high school teacher. Um, it might sound like a lot, and honestly, it is. Each of these titles is not just a job description, it's a dimension of who I am. The camera is how I see the world. Graphic design is basically how I try to shape the world, and creative direction actually is where I lead people into what I am seeing and what I'm shaping. And then I teach. I enjoy teaching in the sense that it is a way for me to, um, make sure the next generation inherits uh, what I am doing in a better way. So basically, that is who I am. And currently, I am focused on building my photography brand, which is River Ink Multimedia, and I'm teaching too. And I'm teaching, and I am preparing my students for WASI. Yeah, and most importantly, this year I am collaborating with other creatives to, expand my journey. People do ask me this question on how I became who I became. First of all, I became a teacher before I became a photographer and a graphic designer. And, in Ghana, for you to become a professional teacher, you have to go to the training college uh, a number of years. Then we all know the drill. So after training college, I was posted to a village. Yeah, a typical village in Brekum. So a year into teaching, I saw my colleagues, buying forms, trying to get into the university's, how do you call it, this weekend classes. And I thought to myself that I wouldn't want to remain in the basic level. And I spoke to someone who was my teacher back in JSS. I completed JSS before. I completed JSS. I didn't complete JHS. Long declare. So he told me that the way the scenes of things are changing, it is better for me to get myself directly into the university. That is through how do you call it? Study leave. Yeah. So when I got the study leave, he told me that the way scenes are shifting, I have to make a decision. And whatever course I am going to study in the university, there has to be a course that will bring me revenue or income outside teaching. That was where I decided to do graphic design. Now, this is where the spark was. The spark for photography actually started in the church. It started at Elim City. Interestingly, I visited Elim City uh, almost, it's probably like 8 years ago. I think April is going to be 8 years. I visited them for the first time and I saw one guy, just one guy. That guy, his name is Francis. Francis Owusu. Yeah, Francis Owusu something. If I recall the name correctly, he is now the personal photographer for our president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And I saw him moving up and down with the camera, and I was like, I would want to do this in the house of God. So that was where my photography spark shot from. That was my major spark. And so far, the journey has been beautiful. It has been beautiful. It has been brutal to be honest with you. There are sometimes you meet clients who would want to underappreciate your work financially, but they want top notch, they want world class results. And if you are in the creative industry, you will understand where I'm coming from. And it's a part of the journey of becoming. You see, there is no becoming unless you face the depths and the darkness of your soul. And there is no becoming without healing and without the radical acceptance of one's truth. I am quoting Viola Davis. I heard her say this at a show, and I looked into it, and I understood that before you become whoever you want to become, there are certain things that you need to face. And sometimes these things, they come as challenges. They come as temptations. And sometimes they even come as things that are too good to be true. You can meet a lot of clients or people who tell you that you would have to do work for them for free to give you exposure. I think you've met people like that. They'll be like, "Oh, build a system for us. We would want to see how good you are."
Yeah,
And
yeah, a lot.
yeah, you see, yeah, there's so many in the system, and that is part of the journey. Once you learn how to navigate that, then you know that you are heading somewhere. Um, so far, as I already said, it's been beautiful. It's been amazing. You meet great people. You meet worse people. You meet people who will pay you for your work. You meet people who would want it for free, and it all helps in building you up as an individual, a creative, a professional. And as I always say, it is what it is. And in my journey, I've learned how to build relationships. Personally, it's very hard for me to, connect with people. So, people who don't actually know me see me as an introvert. And people who know me see me as an external extrovert. So it is what it is. But through this journey, in my journey as a photographer, as a designer, as a creative lead, and as a teacher, I have been able to build sustainable relationships with people who, for about 5 to 6 years, still call me whenever they have anything photography, anything design. That is because um, I learned how to maintain relationships. Some of us, we don't learn how to maintain relationships. We don't learn how to maintain relationships. And it is something that this generation is falling short on. You see, when it comes to uh, businesses and our professions, because everything has to do with uh, getting paid before we deliver, we are always looking for the money before we deliver. Sometimes, let me be very clear here. Sometimes, just sometimes, you need to read the room, you need to read the atmosphere. That is why it is important for you to be able to discern certain situations. Sometimes your work would have to be a strategic uh, point. It has to be a strategic free work. Sometimes it takes just one free gig to open doors for you. That is why it is important that you get in touch with the spiritual side as a believer. It is important. It is very, very important. You know, I think about a couple of days ago, I was on TikTok and I heard a mom. I came across a mom on my F1P. He was saying that he had a business meeting with God. Had a business meeting with God. He sat down. He had his plan. He showed it to the Holy Spirit, and he had a conversation. And the things that God told him, the things that the Holy Spirit guided him, where he was supposed to do his investment and all that. Trust me, sometimes we underrate these things. You see, God is basically the first and the last thing that we must put in whatever we are doing. I know there are a lot of believers here, and you all agree with me that sometimes it may seem unimportant, but once you start doing it, you find out that he is actually in your business. So uh, that's that is that. So for growth during this journey of mine, for growth, there are certain steps that I've put in place that helps me grow gradually. Uh, as Bubu and Doc said, they said that they've both not arrived. They're still on the journey. We are all in the journey. We are all in the journey of becoming. We are running the race. That is what we are doing. Now, me hitting on running the race just clicked something I want to talk about it before I move on. Please, you need to understand that as a young creative, as a young professional, wherever you find yourself, you the race you are running is actually tailored to you. Please note that the race you are running is actually designed specifically for you. Trust me, there is no one in the world who is having the exact combination of gifts, experiences, vision, and whatever that makes you you. There isn't a single person in this world who is having the same thing. That tells you that your race is different, your lane is different. It is important for you to discover that for yourself. This is self-discovery. If you need more on that, I think Tio is here to help. Tio, I believe that you're here to help, right?
Yes, sir. I'm here to help.
Sure. Okay. So for my steps in growing, first of all, I always put God first in whatever I'm doing. Some of us we sometimes forget that um, God is there when it comes to money. when you're trying to make money or trying to, get into the business aspect of uh, our daily lives or our profession, the business aspect, we forget that God is there, even though we are believers. But I believe it is important that we recognize the presence of God in every step that we take or we are taking. And then also, I surround myself with people who are better than me. Sometimes you go to places and you hear some of these serial photographers doing boss. It's sometimes embarrassing to me, sometimes. But I try my best to find myself among people who are way better than I am, people that I can learn from. Now, with that being said, no matter how hard you try to be among people who are better than you, there are always people who you are better than. And that is an opportunity for you to also teach people what you know. Quick example. Um Back in uni, when I was starting photography, I think around second year, that was where I got close to my dearest friend who is no longer with us, Prince. And what got us close was that he wanted me to teach him how to retouch pictures. And interestingly, we met at an all night. We were both holding cameras there to capture images. And I had my laptop with me. So we sat down. I taught him what I knew at that moment. And I left for school. There was so much pressure in school that I couldn't focus on photography. So in that moment, I was a little better than him when it came to retouching of pictures. When I came back from school, oh God, I saw growth in his work. I saw extensive growth. And now I had to kind of learn from him. And he mentored me till the day he left here. So you see how it works. Sometimes you find yourself in places where you have to learn from people and people have to learn from you. So bottom line, surround yourself with people who are better than you. Listen more, observe more, ask the right questions with genuineness. And it's what do you call it? It's an ingredient for growth. Then master one thing before you monetize everything or you monetize that thing. You see, the market rewards depth than before it's even starts to reward breadth. So if there is one thing that you want to study, one thing that you want to learn, be it website designing, be it graphic design, be it photography, be it any creative skill, whatever you want to do, please pick one thing, go deep into it. If you have to hit the button before you step into another thing, because you would want to be deep in one place and be a master of that thing rather than be someone who have spread his or her wings across a whole lot of how do you call it things, but you cannot actually go deep into even one of them. It is very bad for uh, growth, in my opinion. In my opinion, it is very bad for growth. And then learn how to communicate well with people. See, in building relationships, it is very important that you know how to speak to people. Sometimes it takes just the first 2 minutes of a conversation for someone to really like you or really hate you. Probably hate is a strong word, but for the lack of a better word. Uh, so you need to learn how to, communicate very well. And with this, if you are taking it to the business side, if you want to win over clients, if you want to win over people who give you their money, so that you give them a product or you provide them a service. You need to convince people sometimes. You need to convince people sometimes. And as the world is growing and things are changing, I believe we all need to adapt to certain things. And it is important that as young people, we adapt to what we are seeing. Now, AI is changing design and social media and everything. So, in order for you to be relevant in certain areas, I believe it is important that for the sake of the future and for adaptability and for you to be dynamic, take a course in AI. Any AI course, free course that you found online. Take probably 2 weeks, take a course. It is going to help you. There is a lot that I have here that I would want to share, but for the sake of time, I would like to bring everything to an end here. And this is what I want to say to you. Run the race. Run it with discipline. Run it with integrity. Run it with focus. And most importantly, please run your race with God. Thank you very much.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, if you are excited, kindly type 3334 for Mr. Yaw Otoo with integrity, with focus. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I think that was a great one. You've said a lot. Yeah. And I don't really have a question for you because I was going to ask about focusing on one thing. Since you mentioned that you do so many things, but I wanted to know if we should start with one, then move to another, and eventually become like you. But since you already touched on that, I think it's okay. Right. So please, if you have any questions, kindly put them in the chat. After our speakers are done, we will have something like a round table where we can ask them questions and also discuss more. So thank you so much, Mr. Nanayao. Thank you. I've learned something. How to keep clients, right? I have to keep clients. Yeah. I do that, but now I'm going to do more. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. If this added value to your journey, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share it with someone. And let us know what stood out to you in the comments.